I had to restart. Everything froze. Hello again. Hello, Brittany, Alicia. Right. Oh, you found me. You found me. No, everything just froze, and I'm like, anybody there? Anybody there? And nobody answered me. Then I realised I tried to type a message at the bottom, and it wouldn't go up. No, I couldn't see. I just froze. Well, I didn't freeze. The screen froze. Yeah. So it was like, it happened last time, that didn't it? I've given up on trying to do it, plan it, because I can never get back in. Oh, hey, Jackie. Late to the party. Yeah, you're all typing, were you? Ah. I know Grace sent me a message on Facebook saying, you're not streaming anymore. Where are you? So I just had to start again. So I don't know whether she'll find us or not. Oh, you won't want to be here, love, unless you want to dust and tidy up for me. Oh, you're late to the party as well, are you, Donna? Was it a woman? I didn't know it was a woman. I thought it was a fella. You refresh the page. Hello, I think I'm getting a message back from Grace here. Yeah, Grace. She hasn't found us yet, Grace. She must be still on the other one. I'm all right, Jackie. How are you? How's the boys? Tried to. She was a she, was she? I thought it was a he for some reason. I've put down my crochet in here because it was scratchy. I don't feel like going ahead with it. As far as I know, no. She's due at the end of the month, I think. But she was late with another two babies, so I just hope she gets the baby before the wedding. Otherwise, she'll be waddling down the aisle with a nurse behind her, just in case she goes into labour. Yay, Grace, you found me. No, everything froze up. I couldn't see any typing, I couldn't see anything, and I just thought I was talking to myself. Yeah. I think the Queen's too polite to not like any of the royal family in public, anyway. Daniel's so, just about the same as you, Daniel. Peter's okay now after his ops, is he? His elbow, wasn't it? His elbows, I think, wasn't it? He was with. Oh, I'd hate to have an op on the elbow. I wouldn't be able to crochet. Bet you got a lot of crocheting done, Jackie, haven't you, while you were in the hospital? It's so boring, isn't it, sitting by the side of somebody who's in hospital? When my mum was poor, well, when she was dying, really. I've never met any of the royals. When I was little, and it was a coronation, about the week after the coronation, I saw the Queen go by in a car. That's the closest I've ever been to a royal. I did just about see her, but that was about it. Yeah, he was in hospital 10 days. How many shawls did he crochet while he was in there? I know you usually take your crochet, don't you, when he's in hospital? You saw the Queen's hat? No, I saw her. She was in quite an open car, but it wasn't like an open carriage where you could actually see her. You could just see a glimpse of her. And I was fortunate because on the side of the road I was, the Queen was on that side, yeah. Hi, Jennifer. You've got to tell me something. All right. I think it counts if you see the top of her hat, yeah. Oh, oh, put it in the bin. How embarrassing. You made Joe pick it up. I don't I hope he picked it up with gloves on. Oh, that is embarrassing. Yeah, well, you don't know, do you? You don't know what, because you don't know the neighbours before you. Oh, I would be, oh, well, can you imagine how they're feeling? They know they've left it behind. A spanner next to your name means that you have the power to boot somebody off. Yeah. Well, I hope the bin men don't see it and think it's yours. Yeah. Yeah, but. Oh, Paris is having a swivel. She's having a swing. See there. I must have caught her arms. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, she did move. I moved her. Yeah, I mean, oh, Poppy, she's fast asleep on the floor here, snoring. If you listen carefully, you'll be able to hear her. I've got a piece of hair sticking out. Oh, can you imagine now? If you know you've left something behind, oh, that would be embarrassing. I mean, I'm of the age now where I don't bother with things like that, so nobody's going to find anything. Paris, yes, she's definitely got a mind of her own. She falls over on her own, and I think she's secretly a drinker. You know, she's so tall. I know she's about 6 foot actually. I mean, why they think a mannequin's got to be 6 foot? I don't know. It was funny because Christina, who was here yesterday, she's really tiny. She doesn't even make 5 foot. No, I'm not stood up. I'm sat down. And she was stood next to the mannequin, and she's like about here on the mannequin. No, we're not stood up. Paris is definitely not all woman. She's definitely got her quirks. She's held together with a load of what do they call it? Gaffer tape or whatever you call it, yeah. Oh, I don't think she would. She'd be too embarrassed to ask for anything back, wouldn't she, surely? It makes you wonder why she didn't pack it. I mean, I'd make sure if I had anything like that, I'd make sure I moved it before I moved, if you know what I mean, moved house. Paris has got Gorilla Glue on her feet. That's why she's glued to her plinth. That's why I can't put her trousers on anymore now, because her feet are glued down. Because she had a spike that went through the glass plate and up into her foot, and it broke. So I tried to glue the plastic bit onto the plinth, but the plinth was so heavy. Every time I picked Paris up, the plinth just dropped off again because it was so heavy. So she's now on a plastic, like a roundabout turntable thing, a bit like the thing you ice a cake with. She's on one of them now. I look like her. Do you know Queen Victoria used to crochet? That's a known fact. There's pictures of her. Paris needs a boyfriend. No, we don't. None of that in here. We're having no fellas in here. No. Only Gigi the dog. He's a man. Or a girlfriend. No, don't want to have a girlfriend. I can't stand another 6-foot woman in the place. I've got the other ones with no heads on. Because one's what's she called? Anne Boleyn. She's called Anne Boleyn. Yeah, I think she's called Anne Boleyn. I can't remember. No, she's got no head. Anne Boleyn, no head. Oh, goodness gracious me. I've got a head that's supposed to be for a child's hat, and it looks like Chucky, honestly. It's if I put a kiddie's hat on that, nobody. Oh. Oh yeah, we give new hips to 92-year-olds, especially if they're the well, what's he called? Prince Consort, I think. Yeah. Well, he's got the money, hasn't he? Let's face it, he's probably went private. Expect him to live to 100 like the Queen Mother. I mean, they have the best of medical care, don't they? It's so who knows? I mean, they say money can't buy health, but it can buy a lot of help. I mean, he was 10 days in hospital, wasn't he? Oh, pizza's here, is it right? Okay. Cut us a slice. Leave it over here. I mean, he was in hospital 10 days. If he'd have been on the NHS, he would have been out in about 2 with a pair of mismatched crutches. But because he's royalty, he probably had his own private room with a bathroom and, physiotherapists working on him every night. And, it's different. It's like when Catherine gives birth. She's in is it £8,000 a night room or something? I don't think the Queen crochets, but I know Queen Victoria used to, because there's pictures of her. Apparently, she used to give bits of her crocheting, out to the servants or the, groundsmen and things like that. When it was the Christmas time and all that, she used to give them handmade things. I think the Queen was shown to be knitting when everybody was knitting balaclavas and socks during the war. Because she was in the Land Army, the Queen and Princess Margaret. She used to drive ambulances and God knows what else in the war. She did a bit, did a stint. I'm not saying she wasn't well guarded, but she did do too many queens. Depends what kind of queen you're talking about. We've only got one queen now. The Queen Mother died. So we've just got one queen until she retires or dies or whichever. And then we will have Prince Charles. But I don't want Queen Camilla. Mm-hmm. I mean, she can be princess or whatever. But no, I don't want Queen Camilla. No. It's not right. Yeah, the Queen, she did. Yeah. No, I didn't see that. I mean, she might be a nice woman. I just don't kind of see her as Queen, if you know what I mean. Oh, I mean, to me, she broke up. I mean, I'm not saying the marriage wouldn't have broke up. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. There's two sides to every situation. But I mean, Diana never stood a chance because she was, she was kind of always in the marriage, yeah. Um, I think William will be, you know. Camilla, no, they're not divorced. No, he's still with her, I'm afraid. No, she's not Queen material, is she? I don't know why. She just isn't. I mean, I could see Catherine being a queen, but well, the Queen. Oh, no, I just don't. I mean, she's probably a nice woman. I mean, they say he's happier now than he's ever been, than he ever was with Diana, but that he was kind of made to marry Diana because she was good breeding stock and she would give him sons, whereas Camilla was already married and already had kids. Oh, I've got a moth. So I just feel sorry sometimes for Diana. But as you say, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. So maybe she had a lot of faults. Yeah, Princess Diana, she was very, very attractive. Yeah, she was a very, very pretty lady. I mean, she was seemed to be, from all accounts, a very good mother. I think, like Catherine is like the same as Diana. Yeah. Yeah, Diana was far too young and innocent when she got married. Whereas, I mean, Catherine got schooled into it gradually, didn't she? Because she was with William for a long, long time. Yeah. I mean, they've got odds on saying that this new baby's going to be a boy, but it doesn't make any difference anyway, does it? Because they've changed the ruling now who can be a king and a queen. That's why Harry's moved further down the line now because, the little one, George, he's the next one. And then it's the girl after that that's the next one because they've changed the ruling that it has to be a boy. So that's why Harry's gone down to the fifth in line, I think, now. So there'll never be a queen whatever she's called. Can't remember her name now. Harry's lady. She'll never be queen because a lot of things would have to happen before they got there. I don't think she'd make a good queen. I think Catherine will. You know, she seems genuinely interested in charity work and different things, you know. So she's like Diana, really. But I don't know whether Harry's new wife will step up to the plate. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, if her family's anything to go by. I mean, bleating about not being invited to the wedding when they haven't spoken to each other for about I don't know how many years. So why should she invite them? I mean, her stepsister's been dishing the dirt, selling her story all over the newspapers, so it's not exactly somebody that you want at your wedding, is it? Somebody who sold your story for millions, yeah? I mean, it doesn't really matter what sex this new baby is because they've got a boy and they've got a girl. So, how did we get onto the royals? I think somebody said, had they ever met the Queen? Was that you? Well, it's got to be one of each, and one of either, Donna. It'll either be a boy or a girl. I mean, I think the punters are saying, I know, I'm bored not crocheting, you're right there. I get fed up when I'm not crocheting, but I'm not carrying on with that. It's like Brillo pads. Didn't think it was so harsh. Yeah, I won't be stopping on long because I'm getting fed up now. Yeah. No, you mean fake news, don't you, Jean? That's what Trump always says, fake news. Most of the things in the newspapers today are fake anyway. Reach for something to crochet, I can't because it means I'd have to start something. I'd have to count all the stitches. And I can't count and talk at the same time. I've never been able to do that. Oh, hate that. Or have you ever pulled a load of rows back to discover that you were right in the first place when you thought you were wrong? I've done that a few times in my life. Oh, she's moving again. She's on the move again. What happens to her? She keeps spinning round. I'm nowhere near her. You want to pull your hair out? What, because of your knitting or your crocheting here? Have you ever done something, you're doing it at night, you're watching the telly, and you're doing this row and you're doing this row and you swear blind the pattern's wrong. So you eventually you lose your temper with it and throw it in one corner and you think that's it. And you come down the following morning, pick it up, and it just goes right the whole way across the row. And you can't understand why you couldn't do it the night before. Oh, you're a back shot wave. Where have you been? Have we missed you? I know. It's more annoying when you go all the way up somewhere and you've done about 12 inches and you discover a mistake kind of like, about 6 inches down, and it's one that you can't darn over or do anything. You've got to fix it. Oh, God, what we got now? Another troll. That's him gone again. What time is it? It's 11:30, isn't it? I feel as though I'm boring tonight. I feel as though I'm not thrilling. Oh, have you ever made a mistake with mohair? Oh, it welds itself together. You just cannot get it to come apart. I finished up cutting it sometimes, I feel as though I am. See, I'm yawning, I'm boring myself. Yeah, I know, it's really annoying. And I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to leave a mistake, And other people say, I can't see this mistake. Me, my eyes just go straight to this mistake and I can't leave it. Especially if, you're putting it up for sale or something and it's got a mistake on it. It's got to come back. I can't cope with it. Yeah, my mum used to say I should have been one of these quality testers or something, that look at garments and things, on the production line when they're being stitched together and you get like a supervisor. Yeah, with knitting you can drop it back. Have you ever tried dropping it back with a lacy pattern? Ha! Yeah, my mum used to say I should work on a production line being like the quality control because I bought a top one time for my husband and it was in stripes. And I looked at it when he had it on and I said, oh, you can take that off. He says, why? I said, it's wrong. I said, the back's been cut upside down because the stripes were going in a sequence like that on the front and the sleeves. But on the back, they were going in a different sequence the other way around. So I took it back. And this guy went looking on the rack and he said, oh, God, he said, there's hundreds of the damn things in the back, and they'll all have to go back now. He said, we never noticed it. So, well, I noticed it. And they'd sold loads and loads of them and nobody noticed it except me, that the back was upside down. Yes, I was very fortunate in the fact that whenever I made anything, I could sell it in the shop. And so when I started trying to sell my own stuff, it was hard for me because I'd never had to work hard or use Etsy or anything. Yeah, I hate it. If you buy something like a jacket or trousers or something and the stripes or the lines don't match up where the seams are and you get the front of a jacket, don't you, and the plaids are not right across. Oh no, I'm terrible. I hardly ever buy anything without having to adjust buttons or something because if you look at it and the buttons are not lined up properly or they're pulling, they're too close together or they're too far apart, I have to take them off and re-sew them. I'm just a monkey like that. What it's like the top of this. I took this top back I don't know how many times because I wanted it to be exactly the same number of patterns down either side and exactly the same gap, there and there. But yeah, I had to take a pair of velvet trousers back because one side was cut with the nap of the velvet going down one way, and on the other leg, it was going up. And they looked like two different colored legs. And again, when I took them back, they said, "Oh, Oh, we've got loads of pairs of them. We'd never noticed it. But it's so different if the velvet pile's going one way on one leg and the other way on another. No, I'm funny that way. I once finished a whole sweater off one time. It was all in a lacy pattern and it had picot edges. It was all knitted, picot edges around the neck and down here. There was little holes like that for the buttons and everything. And when it was all finished, I saw a mistake right in the middle at the front. And I thought, oh, no. And my friend came and she said, oh, that's so pretty. Have you made it for you? And I went, yeah. I said, can you see anything wrong with it? And she goes, no, it's perfect. I said, if you think it's perfect, I said, take it home. Yeah, this is what I mean. If I see things like that, buttons, they always stitch buttons on with one thread. Have you noticed? They get like a piece of thread that looks like embroidery thread, don't they? Then they go up through the button and back down again, and that's it. That's how they stitch the buttons on. I mean, I've got some embroidered jackets I paid about £50 for. And the button fell off the first time. Luckily I found it. I didn't. And when I looked at all of them, they were all hanging on one thread, and I thought, I just paid like 50 quid for this jacket, and it's not even got the buttons stitched on properly. Made me annoyed that I had to stitch all the buttons back on before I could wear it again. But unfortunately, it didn't fall off, and I lost it because they were fancy ornate buttons. I couldn't ever have matched them up. Yeah. One was cut crosswise. You couldn't really take it back if somebody had given it you, could you? Yeah, I don't like unlined jackets unless they're flimsy material, like made out of dress fabric, and they're just like a part of a suit, but they're not really a jacket, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I've sent things to the charity shop lots of times because of things like that. Oh, somebody's calling me. Well, I'm not going to answer them. It's on my phone, that. Oh, stop. Yeah, it's probably Jenny. I'm not answering it because I'm on here. Can't do two things at once, Jenny. Did I get my linings done? If it's India calling, they want to get into my PC because I've got PC tools. That's the one they're on at the moment, yeah. No, the linings, no. I had a bad week last week, as you probably know. I lost a friend and it was just all sad and everything, and the funeral and everything. So it just kind of put me off my stroke. I was all right doing my crochet, but I just couldn't settle to anything else. So I'm going to try again this coming week. Gigi. No, I know it'll be Jenny. I said I'd speak to her later. Poppy wants cuddles as well, as big as she is. It's a bit hard to cuddle Poppy, though. Oh, Gigi, yeah. Gigi wants to go across here, across the top part of my bust, where it's all comfy. And also, he's not daft because when he sits up there and I'm on my rocking chair, he can see out the window. And he's on street patrol, yeah. Yeah. No, Poppy's a real softie. She wants to be cuddled all the time. She's fast asleep and snoring, and yet when I said her name, her ears went, me. Gigi has been here before. He's really, really smart, that one. He knows how to wind me round his little finger. Honestly, he does. He always gets his own way. Poppy, she was bought, not by my son, but she was bought as a Burmese mountain dog. And there's no way in this world she's a Burmese mountain dog. She's got partly the colourings of a Rottweiler, but she's very long-bodied. She looks as though she's maybe a bit of, excuse me, a bit of Alsatian in her or a bit of collie or something. And she's got a very long plumy tail. But she was sold to our Ian's friend as a Burmese mountain dog. I don't know where he was looking. There's no way she was a Burmese mountain dog. She's far too tiny for that. But she's got a very long body. Now, Rottweilers are squat, and they've got the big chests. That's what Sky was like. We used to call her the thug Sky because she never went round anything. She just went through it, you know. And if you were standing between where she was going, she would just barge into you. And she weighed about 7.5, 8 stone. I know you want pounds, don't you? But I don't know what it is in pounds. It's £14 in 1 stone. She might have lab in her, but she's got more of, Alsatian look about her around her stomach area and that. She's, got. I mean, labs are kind of solid, but she goes, "Hi, Cheryl." She goes up in the middle, like an Alsatian does, with like more of a narrower waist and a barrel chest. Yeah, so I think she's more of an Alsatian. But even the vet couldn't tell us. The vet just said he could see Rottweiler in her, but the rest of her could be anything. But it's like my Buster. I mean, he had the look of a boxer, but he also had the look of a staffy. So we never really knew for sure what he was. Yeah. I think crossbreeds are more interesting anyway. When you look at them, you can play guess who their mummy was, guess who their daddy was, yeah. Because we know nothing about Poppy. Because she was inherited from Arian's friend. How am I today? A bit creaky today, actually, Cheryl, but I'm trying not to think about it. Yeah, this lad bought Poppy. Well, actually, she was called Ruby when he bought her. And he unfortunately didn't tell his mother that he was buying this dog. And they lived next door to my son at the time. My son doesn't live there anymore, but when he lived next door to my son. And because he was out at work and that, his mum just wasn't keen. So Poppy used to come in and play with Arian's dog, Sky. So eventually she finished up not going home, if you know what I mean. So, which his mother was very happy about. So, yeah, she's been around. She's been to Spain. She lived in Spain for 4 years, but apparently the Spanish people don't like big dogs. They had to wear muzzles all the time they were in Spain when they were walking them because they're classed as a big aggressive dogs, the Rottweilers. Everybody has little fiddling dogs in Spain, apparently. So Arian didn't like it there for the dogs because having to walk them on a lead and muzzle them. Anyway, they eventually managed to find somewhere up in the hills where they could let them have a run. So they used to take them up there and let them off the leads. I mean, Poppy slowed down a lot, but she used to be a squirrel chaser. She never caught any, but she used to. She used to chase them halfway up the tree. She hates. Yeah, I'm dog sitting just for the evening. She'll be going home tomorrow. Yeah. Grandma's looking after her furry granddaughter. If they have to go anywhere and they're not sure what time they're going to come back or anything like that, instead of her being on her own, and not being able to go. Oh, I always volunteer if they're going anywhere. I always say, "What are you doing with Poppy?" And they always say, "Why will you have her?" I said, "Of course I'll have her, I don't like her being on her own for hours and hours if they've got to go someplace, yeah. I mean, they'll be home now, but, she would have been on her own most of the day, so So Grandma looks after her when it's times like that. I don't look after her if they're going away, because she needs walking and things like that, and I can't do that. But if they're just going away for a couple of days, or they're just going away for a weekend away, or even a day away, I look after her then, because she doesn't need a walk for one day, or even two at a pinch. But any longer than that, she'd need walking, and I can't do that. She's a big dog. I mean, she's quite a hefty dog, and I'm unsteady on my legs, so she'd pull me right over. I mean, she wouldn't mean to, but she's just. I mean, she's knocked me over twice already. Not in aggression or anything like that. She just doesn't know her own strength. She just leans on me, and then over I go. I mean, our Ian shouts at her, but I don't. Yeah, Sky. Unfortunately, we've lost Sky now, but she had liver failure, so we had to lose her last year. All very, very sad, but she lived for 12 months after the diagnosis, and she was on tablets and that. But eventually she stopped eating, and she went yellow in her eyes, and they took her to the vet, and the vet said, "I'm sorry, but there's nothing more we can do for her." So, Arian was so upset because Sky was his dog, and because Buster, I mean, he didn't really have to part with Buster, because he gave Buster to me because Buster developed incontinence problems, and they were at work all day and they couldn't look after him. He was all right here because I used to keep the door open for him, and he used to be able to wee about 25 times a day, you see. But he was ruining the house, ruining the flooring, laminate flooring. He ruined it all, and they had to rip it all up and get a fresh laid down. So when they had fresh laid down, they said, "We don't know what we're going to do with Buster. We might have to have him put to sleep." And I went, "No, you don't. No, you don't." So I had him for about 6 years, I think I had him. Believe it or not, Sky, the Rottweiler, used to sit, on my son's knee. The Rottweiler, she was huge. Oh, I broke my heart when I had to put Buster down. Absolutely sobbed. But his back legs just went completely. He couldn't stand up. And he was completely incontinent then. He just couldn't even control it at all. It was just like turning a tap on. And he couldn't stop himself. It was just all the time. Oh, God, I was heartbroken when I had to put him down. Heartbroken. But it had to be done because he was 13. He had a good life. I mean, the reason for his incontinence was he got run over when he was a pup, and it hit his back end, and it damaged his kidneys and everything. So, and his bladder, he had problems with his waterworks ever since then. Yeah, but my son wouldn't have done all the washing that I did. He used to sit on little baby. I used to buy second-hand baby duvets, and I had about half a dozen of them. And as he wet them, I used to put them in the washing machine, give him a fresh, clean, dry one, and then I had to have about 6 of them because to rotate, because I was washing 3 and 4 in a day. But there's the things you do, isn't it, for your dogs, isn't it? I mean, he was as bright as a button, apart from him wetting himself. And he was fine if he was awake. It was when he dozed off. So as he went to sleep, his muscles used to just give way on him, and he used to wee on himself. Yeah, but he couldn't help it. It was no good getting cross with him. Now, Ian used to shout at him when he wet on the floor and different things, and I never did. Never shouted at him. He used to look at me like that, absolutely sort of, "Oh, I've wet myself. Oh." And I used to just say to him, "Look, it doesn't matter, Buster. Come on, Mummy will put you dry bedding." And I used to wash him down. And he had a bowl outside, a big flat bowl. I used to take him outside, and he used to stand in. I used to wash all his his wee bits down, you know, so he didn't smell. Dry him off. And he loved the hairdryer, absolutely adored the hairdryer. So I used to dry him all off till he was all nice and clean and nice smelling again. Put him back on a clean duvet, then we'd have to do the whole thing again. About an hour and a half later, we'd have to do it all over again. But you do these things, don't you? You do it for your dog. I mean, if his back legs hadn't have gone, I would have put up with him, you know, being incontinent or anything, you know. But Arian wouldn't have stood for that. He wouldn't have had the patience, and also he wouldn't have had the time because he was working, and his wife was working at the time, so nobody was there to look after him, you know. But he was bright. He was happy. He'd go in the garden and play with a ball and everything. He was so happy that I just couldn't put him down just because he was wetting himself, you know. Yeah. I mean, I hope when I start wetting myself, I hope they don't put me down. I hope they get me some special pants and things. I don't want to be put down. Yeah, we've only ever got rid of one dog, and he was, oh, and we kind of knew there was something not right with him, and he was going with the kids and that, you know, with my great grandchildren, and Arian took him to the vet, but he had a brain tumor. So that's the only one we've ever sort of had to put down, even when he was nothing. Well, I won't say there's nothing wrong with him, but he had these moods. All I tell her, we had to put another dog down because she started fitting. And first of all, we had her on tablets and that for ages, and then she started fitting, and more fitting. And we took her to the vet, and he said, "Nah, it's time to say goodbye to her." She wasn't very old either. She was only a couple of years old. But she was just, she had no quality of life because she was fitting all the time, you know. And then he adopted another dog from a friend of his. He didn't want to adopt him, but he got a will this dog, and that was a pain in the neck. It wouldn't adapt with these two. Anyway, it's finished up on a farm, and it's loving it. It's gone to a horse farm, plenty of fields and everything. And apparently, it's a brilliant dog now. All it needed, you see, was probably more exercise than Arian could do. And it's the only dog. It's not sharing people with other dogs, if you know what I mean. So that dog's happily running around with the horses now. But that was I mean, I said at first I'd have him, you know, when he was starting to be awkward. But Arian said no. He said you wouldn't want him. He said he's too much of a thug, you know. I wouldn't will him on you because I just lost Buster then, you know. He said he's too much of a handful. Yeah. Pets usually adopt me. So I've had two cats, and I didn't set out to get either one of them. They just arrived. They chose me. So that's how come I got one. One lived next door, but he decided he wanted to live in my house instead. So have I frozen again? Oh no, I haven't. Oh, Gigi is ruined. Yeah. My cat was an Ollie. He lived next door but one, but you tell him that. He was always in my house. And every time they lost him, I'm fine, thank you. Every time they couldn't find him, they used to come and see if he was at my house. And then they were moving house, and they were going to downsize, and they were going to live in a little house that was on a main road. And so they didn't really want to take him because he was a white cat and he'd gone deaf and he was partially sighted. And so they said they didn't want to take him and him be run over on the main road. Because here he used to sit down in the middle of the road and lie there, and people used to say, "Is this your cat? He's in the middle of the road." I used to have to go out and pick him up, yeah. What are you going on about, Angelina? I'm making any what? Don't know what she means or what. So anyway, that's how come I got him, because we decided that as he knew the neighbourhood, he stayed here with me. Crochet things I was doing, but actually the yarn I was using was very scratchy, so I put it down. I was very disappointed because I was doing quite well with it, but there's no point continuing with it if nobody's going to wear it because it's too scratchy. So very disappointed with that yarn. It's white with a few sparkles in it, but it's absolutely... You could make a scrubby with it. Except I've got 400 grams, so it's rather a lot of scrubbies, isn't it? Oh dear. Yeah, I'm still here. I know that you go to delete something and then it moves up. So you think, oh, I just deleted the wrong person. A sweater, it's rough. I'm not joking, Angelina. It's so rough. But it's such a pretty yarn too. I don't know if you can see the sparkles in it. No, you can't, can you? Yeah, you can see them just a bit. It's got glitters in it. But the glitter is making it rough. I'm going to do a square and wash it in the washing machine and put it in the tumble dryer and see whether it softens up. If it softens up, then I'll carry on doing something. Oh, I'm not going to send them back. I can't be bothered. I'm one of these people, you know, if something arrives and it's not what I really like, I just stick it. Yeah, put some catnip in it, yeah. Except I don't make toys. Oh, there's plenty of people who will have it if I don't want it. I'm sure they could find a use for it. It might soften up, though. You know, it's the Stelina or the Lurex or whatever it is. Oh, it's all written in Turkish, so I can't tell you what it is. That's the trouble when you get Turkish yarn, you don't know. Yeah, I could make a shawl with it, yeah. It is very stiff. No, it's all written into... Oh, yeah, acrylic. Acrylic and polyester. That's all it says in English. God, there's 250 metres on it as well, so I've got 1,000 metres of this stuff. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's written in. As I say, it's all written. What does it say? Hand wash, no tumble dry, it says. So, but I'll risk a little square. No bleach, no iron. No tumble dry, as I say. I'm still going to risk it. I could make a car seat cover, but I don't have a car. Oh dear. Hexagon sweater. Yeah. I'm not making anything to wear with it until I find out it softens. There's no point in spending my time, wasting my time doing it. I'd rather scrap the wool. My oldie never, well, hardly, my oldie never has any yarn. I did get some yarn, but I had to go to the oldie in Middleton. And B&M, the only place that's B&M is like in Bury. And yeah, I could make bags with it. Wouldn't matter if it's a bit rough if I made a bag, would it? That's an idea with it. If it won't soften up, I'll make bags. Because people don't expect a handbag to be soft, do they? Use Google to translate. You're going to write to make a bag, yeah? Yeah, I could do that. Hair conditioner. I can't even write this on Google because, you know, the symbols are Turkish. So they're all like, like Greek symbols are. It's just, no, it doesn't say anything. Doesn't even say what thickness it is. Doesn't give you any knitting needles or crochet hooks. Oh yeah, it's just got knitting needles and a crochet hook, but it doesn't tell you what size. Huh. If you were next to me. Yeah, I'll make a bag with it if it doesn't soften. Oh, you're back from Joann's. We don't have anything like Joann's and stuff. You know, over here we've got Hobby Craft, I think it is, a Hobby Lobby, I can't remember. No, it's not Hobby Lobby, that's American, isn't it? We've got Hobby Craft or something, but it's too full of other crafts rather than just knitting. Oh, I got mine. I think you saw them on the last video I did when I did the unboxing with Christina. She was selling like seconds of this, the cakes, and there were 5 for £12.65. So that works out about £2 something, I think, doesn't it? I can't work out these things. I'm no good at maths. But they're not perfect. But they're almost perfect. Let me see, what is it? £12.65 divided by 5. £2.53 they were each plus the postage. Oh, it's too rough for a baby blanket. I've actually ordered some cotton from Holbein. I wasn't going to order any more yarn, but I feel so dreadful because he sent me that sample box, if you remember, last year. And I felt awful because I've never ordered anything since. So I thought I better had. So I've ordered some cotton. I'm hoping it's going to be nice and soft. If not, there's going to be an awful lot of washcloths being made. Yeah, that's the trouble with this yarn is I've got it in black with red sparkles and black with silver sparkles. So I'm hoping that they're not as rough. Otherwise, I'm stuck with a load of sparkle wool. Yeah, the Holbein, yeah. I've ordered 3 colours, so... Oh, excuse me. I'll let you know. I must admit, I'm a fan of James C. Brett cotton on. It's only 50% cotton, but it washes so beautifully. But it isn't cheap. I think it's £1.89 for 50 grams, so it's not cheap. But this from Hobium, I'm just trying to work out how much that would be with the postage. Yeah, it's called Cotton On, Grace. It's lovely. It's so soft because it's a mix, you see, of cotton and something else. But wash, it just washes like a dream. I love James C. Brett yarn, absolutely. You know, the marble chunky, the marble double knit, and everything. It's lovely wool, lovely yarn, whatever you want to call it. I call everything wool over here, but it's not wool. Yeah, that I might do with this yarn. I might do a handbag or, you know, you call them a purse, don't you? We call them a handbag. But I'll see whether it softens up. But I'm not. That's why I'm not crocheting. I'm just not. I wanted to crochet tonight when I was talking to you. I really wanted to crochet, but I'm not carrying on. It's just wasted. But yeah, you like James C. Brett as well, do you? Yeah. I like working in some cottons. I've got some cotton upstairs, which is shoulder and style. And some of it, this was shoulder and style. This has got little white whiskers on it. I don't know whether you can see it or not. It's like a texture. These little dangly bits dangling off it. It's in the yarn. But I've got some shoulder and style and the plain cotton, and it's thicker than a double knit. It's probably more like a worsted. But every time I try to crochet it, it splits, and it's driving me bonkers. So I'll have to think of something that's on a really big hook, very open work or something to use with it. Because every time I tried one colour and I actually made a crochet top for myself in one colour, and that was fine. But I started a green, and the green just kept splitting and splitting. So at the moment, it's in. I unravelled it. Oh, excuse me. I unravelled it, and it's in the bag that you sent me, Grace. It's sitting in there at the minute while I wait to decide what I'm going to do with it. Yeah, definitely not a neck warmer in that, unless you want your neck scratching today. It is really scratchy. I mean, that yarn that you buy, you know, to make those scrubbies with, it feels like that. It really feels rough. It's a shame because I'm quite liking the pattern. And anyway, I've got a mistake in it there, so I don't know what's happened with that treble, but something's happened weird with it, so it would have to go back anyway. Am I sleepy or hungry? Probably sleepy. It's a midnight, I think. Yeah, it's midnight. And I went to bed a little bit late, and Miss Poppy decided that she wanted the garden about 7:15 this morning. And then after she wanted the garden, she wanted a breakfast because they're early risers. My son and his wife are early risers. And so she's used to getting up and getting a breakfast. So I suspect it wasn't so much that she wanted the garden, she wanted a breakfast. So she woke me up rather early this morning. Well, I've just pulled one row back anyway because I can't stand when there's a mistake somewhere. It's not something. I haven't completed the treble properly. I'm a perfectionist, I've said that before. Oh my god, yeah. Somebody's going to be going to bed soon, and that'll be me. You'll all be having your evening meal, and I'll be going to bed. In the UK, it's midnight. Midnight at the Oasis. Put your camel to bed. In my case, it'll be put Poppy to bed. Oh, well, folks, I really am going to go to bed now. I am absolutely. Can you see my eyes? Dark shadows underneath the eyes. I'm really tired. Yep. I need to go to bed. You're right, I do, Yvonne. I wish I could leave you all chatting amongst yourselves, but when I close it down, it closes. When am I coming back? It'll be next week. Yeah, because I'm just getting tired now. I've done 3 hours, girls, so. Yeah, actually, it was the painkillers. Yeah, the pain pills probably kicking in and making me sleepy now. Yeah, I'll take my muscle relaxers and then I'll go to sleep. Because when I get in bed, my back goes. Right, good night, everybody, and thank you all for your company. And I don't feel as I've been as interested as usual. Thank you, everybody. Lydia, I'm sorry you only got a couple of minutes, but I really am tired, so I'm going to bed. So good night to everybody, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Bye now.